Hi everyone, today's video tutorial will show you how to install Boost Auto Parts Ram style wireless powerful tow mirrors for 4th gen Dodge Ram trucks. This video applies to vehicles not originally equipped with PowerFold and shows you how to add this feature using Boost Auto Parts wireless module. The tow mirrors featured today are compatible with 2009 through 2018 Ram 1500 trucks and 2010 through 2018 Ram 25 and 3500 trucks. Our wireless PowerFold tow mirrors are shipped with all necessary harnesses and taps to perform this installation. Let's get into it. To start, remove the 6 T20 torque screws on the door panel. You can use a pick tool to help you remove the screws, as shown here. Be sure to remove the inner trim clips using a pick. Using a trim tool, detach the window switch. You can unplug the connector on the switch by pressing down on the locking tab and pulling straight out. Next, pull out the door handle slightly and use a pick to remove the trim panel behind the door handle. Unscrew the Phillips head screw, then using a trim tool, pry open the door handle bezel. Once that's removed, we can move on to the triangular trim panel that covers the bolts holding the old mirror in place. Now, we can detach the door panel by pulling up and out as shown here. Be careful not to damage the door lock tab. The mirror connectors can now be disconnected. Your mirror harness will likely have 2 connectors on it. With the help of another person supporting the mirror from the other side, unscrew the 3 10mm nuts holding the mirror in place. Now, the mirror can be removed. Carefully guide the harness and connectors out. Next, we're going to update to our Boost Auto Parts mirrors. Carefully guide the harness to avoid any pinching. Holding the mirror in place, reinstall the 3 10mm nuts to secure the mirror. Your mirror may or may not come with this adapter already plugged in. If it's not plugged in, simply plug the adapter from your kit into the mirror. Plug in the 2 connectors from your mirror harness into the door module. The connectors are keyed so they can only go into their specific slot. Now I'm going to show you how to install your wireless upgrade kit. Your driver's side will have 2 harnesses and your passenger side will have 1 harness. On the driver's side, one of your harnesses has 2 white connectors and 1 black connector. The other harness for the driver's side has 2 red disconnects, 2 small black connectors, and 1 large black connector. Using the driver's side harness with the 2 white connectors, plug each connector into the corresponding white connector on the mirror harness. These are keyed so they can only be plugged in one way. Connect the other end to the wireless module. Next, unplug this 5-pin connector from the door module. It will be located in the 3rd slot from the bottom on the left side. Locate pin 4 and pin 5 on this connector. Typically, pin 4 has a black wire and pin 5 has a red wire, but be sure to go off pin location because wire colors may vary. Use the provided T-taps to clamp onto each wire found at these locations. You may have to remove some tape for better access. On a second wireless harness, you can find the corresponding red and black disconnects. Connect the black disconnect to the wire found in pin 4 and the red disconnect to the wire found in pin 5. Plug the connector back into the door module. Connect the small black connector on this harness to the corresponding blue and yellow wired connector. This harness may include an additional black connector with orange and black wires as well. This connector is not needed for this specific application and can be ignored. Finally, the single connector of the harness can be plugged into the wireless module. Now we're ready to run the running light wire. This will be an orange wire in your kit. Go ahead and unscrew the 2 T20 torque screws holding the door harness retaining plate to the door. Separate this plate from the door. Use a pick to remove the rubber boot. Now you have better access to the retaining clips. Press down on them to remove the connector from the truck. To fully remove it, slightly close the door and pull the connector out. Unplug the 2 connectors from the connector retainer. Now focusing on the retaining plate harness, remove the tape to free up the tabs. You can use a trim tool to pry up on the tabs and detach the connector. Feed the open end of the orange wire through the retaining plate, pulling through all excess slack. Plug in the orange wire from the mirrors to the long orange wire. This orange wire will be our running light connection. Using a sturdy metal rod and some electrical tape, run the orange wire through the door jamb boot. Be careful not to catch any wires. I'm using a straightened out coat hanger for this video, but any sturdy rod will work. Once you've fed all the orange wire through, you can reattach the rubber harness boot. You can retape the bundle of wires again if you'd like, but I'm going to leave it as is for now. Next, we'll run the orange wire through the door jamb retaining connector. After you have pulled the running light all the way, we're going to move on to the kick panel. Go ahead and remove it with a trim tool. This next part is harder to see on camera, but essentially you want to pass the orange wire into the cab of the truck and pull it back out through the opening for the door jamb connector. Pull the wiring all the way and be careful not to chafe the wiring in the process. With that out of the way, we can plug back the door connector as shown here. Remember to close the door slightly to allow the connector to reach. Press firmly to engage the clips and reinstall the rubber grommet. The two T20 Torx screws can be reinstalled to secure the door harness. You'll have to follow the same steps for the passenger side. The only difference being that the wireless module only has one connector on it and there's only one wireless harness compared to the two on the driver's side. Once the orange wire is on the passenger side, pass it through to the driver's side. You can crimp together the driver's side and passenger side wiring to a single wire as shown here. Depending on your vehicle, the tap locations may vary. You can pause here to find your vehicle and the corresponding tap locations. On your earlier year vehicles, you may need to locate connector C322 that's located on the driver's side in between the wheel liner and the frame of the truck. This is a black 32-pin connector. You'll want to tap to the white and green wire on pin 8, but follow closely to your vehicle's pin location just to be safe. Later model year trucks are less complicated. They can be tapped to the underhood fuse box as shown here. So this is a newer truck, we can just use the same metal rod to pass our orange wire through this grommet in the firewall. This will bring the wire from inside the cab into the engine bay. Go ahead and strip the insulation off the end of the orange wire, then install it to the fuse tap by crimping it into the butt connector. Remove the appropriate fuse from the board. For my vehicle, I'll be removing fuse number 79. Again, you'll want to reference the tap location breakdown we showed earlier. This fuse has to be placed in the lower slot of the fuse tap as shown here. This fuse tap can now be placed into the slot where the initial fuse originally was. With that done, all internal paneling can be put back into place. You can secure the wiring to the door with the provided zip tie. Place the wireless module in the secure spot on the door panel as shown. Depending on the vehicle, you may have to secure the wireless module to the factory wiring instead of the door panel. And the door panel is now ready to be reinstalled. Push down and in on the door panel, making sure to pass the connector for the window controls through. Plug in the connector for the window controls. The window control can now be reattached by firmly pressing it down until the latches are in. Holding the door handle slightly open, this back paneling can now be pressed into place and secured with a Phillips head screw. Go ahead and cover up the screw with the original trim panel. The triangle trim panel can also be pressed in now. With that in place, the 6 inner trim clips and the T20 Torx screws can now be put back, securing the door panel into place. Repeat the same steps on the passenger side. To test your module activation, select the left mirror adjust button with the ignition on. Then press the left right button sequence. You should hear the module beep twice, indicating that it's active. And just like that, your installation is complete. This next section of the video will be a tutorial showing you how to wirelessly power fold the mirrors. Please note that this is filmed on a GMC truck, but the same procedure is applicable for Ram trucks.
To begin, start by activating the modules. Do this by pressing the left mirror adjust selector. Then use the left right button sequence on the arrow pad to activate the modules. Once you hear 2 fast beeps, the module is activated. While the modules are activated, the mirror glass will not adjust. Once the modules are activated, you may power fold the mirrors. Tap the up arrow to fold the mirror out, or tap the down arrow to fold the mirror in. You may see the passenger side mirror start folding slightly after the driver's side due to the modules communicating from side to side. To deactivate the mirror, you have 2 options. The first option would be to let the modules time out. If there is no activity for 10 seconds, the modules will automatically deactivate. You can also deactivate the modules manually by using the left-left, right-right button sequence on the arrow pad. You'll hear 3 fast beeps once the modules are deactivated. Once the modules are deactivated, any left-hand mirror adjustment will be slightly delayed to prevent erratic module activation.
The Boost Auto Parts wireless tow mirrors can be purchased on our website at boostautoparts.com. Boost Auto Parts also offers a wide range of parts and accessories for your truck or SUV. To stay up to date on new product releases and more videos like this, subscribe to our YouTube channel. That's all for now. Catch you on the next one.